Hello everyone, this is JPO, and today I'm joined with,
Christopher,
yes, we were podcasting in brackets. Anyway, how are you doing today, Christopher?
doing fine. I feel like we have a lot to talk about, especially since we missed a few weeks.
Oh yeah, it's been a few weeks. To be fair, almost a month ago, you came and visited in person. We hung out. Uh, I showed you Man of Steel.
Yeah, so I feel like we have a lot of DC to talk about.
There's a lot of DC to talk about, but I showed you Man of Steel, and right
Yeah.
before we started this recording, we watched the Mad skit for the Man of Steel film.
Mm-hmm. So I think in watching that, like there are some things I caught where it's like, oh, I see where they find fault in, and some other things because I wasn't around at the time. I don't know their issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the Pacific Rim mention. I haven't seen the film, so I can't really say, but I know that the film came out at that time. So
Okay. Um, so one thing we were just about to talk about, and let's start recording. So about like, no. Let me first get my thoughts of the film out of the way. I had always been hesitant into getting into DC because of its messy Snyderverse, and um, and now it's harsh. It now DC's getting partially rebooted, and the Flash movie at the time was about to release, and so there was honestly some anticipation with the Flash because of the emotional story arc, which I knew wouldn't be the focus of the movie, but I still had some interest to see how it would be. Honestly, the recent online dialogue and discourse hasn't helped my excitement to see it. I think we'll get to the Flash later. But
yeah,
anyways, I've also come to the point now where, where I am at with what I've seen from Marvel, what I've seen from Star Wars. Now I've been able to get a better grasp of comic booky / universal worlds.
mm-hmm.
And I finally felt comfortable to start exploring more the DC universe, no matter how messy it is. Not so much yet that going ham on like animation stuff, not so much like other universes that much, but enough where when we visited, I watched both Man of Steel and Michael Keaton's first Batman movie.
Yes, we also watched a couple episodes of the '60s Batman.
That was fun.
A handful of just random animated episodes, just to give you a bit more of a taste of some characters.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah.
So
nothing too extreme, just like a good little introduction.
I've been meaning to watch Batman vs Superman and the second Keaton Batman, but I just haven't gotten to them. But I want to.
So the second Keaton has nothing to do with the Flash film.
Okay.
You don't need to watch it.
Question. So Clooney was a Batman?
Clooney was a Batman, yes.
And so, okay, so in Flash they go, and we're getting to spoilers. So they go to Keaton's universe, then they end up in Clooney's universe? Is that what happens?
So, what happens is the Flash does something that ends up in Keaton's universe, quote unquote Keaton's universe. It's more like a different universe where Keaton is Batman.
That makes sense.
Keaton's universe. And then the Flash tries to fix it, thinks he fixed it, and the film ends with George Clooney as the surprise. He didn't fix it. Here's George Clooney.
As Batman.
Yes.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay.
And it's a fun little bit, but
okay. We'll get to the Flash later, I guess.
We'll get to the Flash later.
Okay, so Man of Steel, we watched that. Okay, so as I was saying, with Superman's dad's death as an earthly dad.
From Man of Steel, yeah.
Oh my God, me saying earthly dad really makes it more parallel to Jesus. Oh my
God. Yes.
I didn't think about how dumb his death was. I bought the idea about his dad, wanting Superman to conceal his powers and therefore was willing to be a sacrifice to protect his son's identity.
Right.
I bought it while watching it. Apparently, it's an issue, as I saw in a tweet and as I saw in this video.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, that's the point. That's the whole thematic point. But I guess it was like, well, like, Superman could have done it so quickly that nobody would have seen it. So I guess that's their excuse, because he just stands there for a while before the tornado comes and gets him. How Superman dies in other continuities is that he has a heart attack. Sorry, Superman's dad dies, he has a heart attack. And there's nothing that Superman could do to prevent that. So which leads him on his journey. So
I guess people were upset with this being too fresh of a take of Superman?
Yeah, like definitely at the time, the Mad Shortlist specifically said, it's like, man, this film like did everything completely different, from him not having the red underwear to just his Fortress of Solitude not being a thing instead of just a ship that he found. Other stuff mentioned, like his father. Yeah, no, it was different, but I can appreciate it more now, for sure.
I think this is one of my issues with comic book discourse, is that fans can't accept a new story. Because here's the thing. I understand you want to see your comic book stories relived in adaptations, but even within the comics, we have so many variations of stories. But it's okay because it's comics. But as soon as it translates to live action, it's an issue. Now, I will say it's no excuse to tell a poor story. I think at the end of the day, you just want to tell the best story possible. And so if you, I don't think that's a proper excuse to, in revising. If you're revising a comic book story and you're telling a worse story overall, then screw you. But like, if you believe you're telling the best story possible, then more power to you. You know what I mean? And I think I didn't get to this when I opened. I do think Man of Steel is really heavy on the action in the last hour, to the point where it literally exhausted me. But overall, I enjoyed the story. I know this is my first real Superman story, so yes, I don't have much to compare it off. And I mean, do I have issues with the movie? Yes, besides the action. But overall, I was able to accept the movie as it was, decently.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, now that you've seen The Flash, you're looking both in hindsight and looking into the future of DC with our semi-rebooted universe.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
How do you feel? Do you wish that we still had Snyder? Like, what's your general emotions? I know we're not touching The Flash exactly yet, but
right. So to help, I guess, like to add out onto that. So we watched Man of Steel, and then you went away. I immediately went into Batman v Superman.
You watched? Really?
Yeah, I went into Batman v Superman because it was like, man, I really want to watch that film now. And it was like, definitely right after watching Man of Steel, it was like a much better experience because of like some of the thematic elements that pulled over. And yeah, no, I just really enjoyed it. And so then I watched the rest of the DCEU. I watched all the films. I finally watched The Suicide Squad, and then I watched Peacemaker as well.
Wow.
Finally just being like, okay, The Flash is coming out, might as well just close off this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I did that. So, to what you were saying about, like, do I wish the Snyder thing went through? Yeah, definitely. Like, I do wish that we had gotten the final culmination of what Snyder was doing, just because, like, when a creator has their vision set and it's done, it works so much better.
Right.
For instance, like the first Suicide Squad film is terrible. Like, every time I think about this film, every time I rewatch it, the film gets worse. And so when I watched The Suicide Squad, I still don't love the way some things were done, but it's a much better film because it feels like everything was made for this film.
Mm.
Like it's the director's vision, and that's what makes it work. Even though I disagree with some of the character representation.
Did the Suicide Squad? Did you end up liking it more than you thought you would?
I mean, I didn't. I never thought that I would hate it.
Right.
But like, the review that I wrote was that this is an improvement over the first, in that the tone and editing match the director's intent, but it still fails in the third act by trying to turn the villains into good guys, which is my big issue with the Suicide Squad brand in general. Is that for some reason they don't know how to get this idea properly. Hollywood likes to see their bad guys be heroes, even though that's not what they're supposed to be.
All right. I guess since we keep skirting on it, should we just talk about the Flash?
Yeah. Again, like I watched Justice League again, the Whedon Justice League again.
Did you watch both Justice Leagues?
I did. And
wow,
so
you really went ham.
I really went ham. I haven't seen the Whedon cut since before the Snyder cut.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, oh my goodness, this film is terrible after watching it again. Because like I could see where things were cut, where things were redone, and like none of it worked. It was like it looked and felt really forced. And so I watched the black and white version of the Snyder cut.
Oh, really?
I did.
How was that?
I mean, it was fine. I think the color, I prefer the color, what little color it has. But like, yeah, no, it works. I think it will work for you.
Okay. Fine.
Right, so The Flash. So The Flash, this is a film that is based off of a comic book called The Flashpoint Paradox. Where do you want to know the story, or do you want me to just be loose about it?
Honestly, so part of why I was talking about like comic book accuracy was I have a friend who loves, I believe, that comic book. I believe it's that one. He loves that story, so he's really looking forward to seeing that story adapted, and was very disappointed that they strayed so much from it. So I'm fine with you giving details, I guess, especially if he doesn't follow suit.
So the basic idea is the Flash goes back in time to like save someone that he couldn't save, and because of that action, the world is completely different. Now, in the comic book and in the animated film adaptation of this story, things are like wild. Like, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are villains, and their people are at war against each other. Humanity's about to end. Batman is actually Bruce Wayne's dad, and he's killing people with guns. The Joker's Bruce Wayne's mom. All these crazy and weird stuff. And like, it's like going to crap. Here, it's just there are no superheroes, and we're at the beginning of Man of Steel, where Zod comes to Earth. Like, it's so basic. It doesn't go far enough to really be excited. It's just like, okay, we have the Flash, we have Keaton's Batman. You already know that Supergirl's in this film, and it's just them. And it's just like, yeah, it's cool, but like, I put this as the second best adaptation of that story, because the best one is the animated film because it goes hard. But like this one, I didn't feel like it went far enough. I thought that overall it was okay. I think that the emotional weight of the character was probably the best part of the film. That I think that the animated film lacked at some points. So that went well, but like, yeah, I felt like some things just didn't go far enough. And when they tried to go far enough, it was like, what is this? Why is this the thing?
If I could pause you for a moment, I'm. I know I don't have a lot of examples to back me up, but I have two significant examples.
Cool.
But I I think we're just seeing that the multiverse is just it's either hard to or just poorly executed in live action. I think seeing this and Multiverse of Madness
Okay.
were
Let me also add something.
okay.
2 weeks before this film came out,
We had Spider-Verse.
we had Spider-Verse, which tackled a lot of the same things that this film tried to did.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, that film kind of sets it up better, even though it's a part one. That one the weight feels a bit bigger.
But that's also what I was going to point out. Like something like Spider-Verse, like this seems like they have more freedom because it's animated. And then even you were talking about your animated Flashpoint, where that tackles things better.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And so, yeah, there has been a lot of
concern.
Yeah, and there's a lot of criticism on the CGI in this film, which is definitely a true criticism. It becomes a problem when the Flash slows things down when he's running, and they have a slow-mo shot of people in that sequence. They look terrible, for sure.
I've seen a handful of clips, specifically of the Superman.
Oh, yes, and definitely when they try to recreate faces, it doesn't quite look as good.
Why did they try to do that? Like, why? Like, if like there was the director said the VFX looks bad because of his perspective. I don't think there's an excuse for it to look that bad.
I think they're just trying to save face because they know that things aren't working out.
But it's also wild because this movie is delayed a year at least.
True. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but like I can ignore some bad VFX as long as like some other elements work. And so I didn't take the VFX into much consideration because I was just fine.
I understand that's you, but like there's many people where their number one complaint with superhero movies right now is VFX. And so for this to be so hyped up as is and to be released as poorly as it is really not helping the market.
Yeah, to me the VFX in this film is the same as the Whedon Justice League. Because I watched the Snyder Cut and like it looks fantastic. This doesn't quite live up to it, but like it gives me the great Batman action that I love seeing, so I'm happy for that. It's like a mixed bag. I want to rate it more than what I did, but like I don't think it's quite up to par to where I rated the second Spider-Verse. So
there's an element where you enjoyed the movie, but you have a lot of issues, basically.
I can enjoy the film. Like there is a lot of great Flash action that I really wanted to see, but like I'm disappointed with how the story went out. I also mentioned to you, I knew every single aspect of this film before going in, and I wasn't really excited by any of it when it showed up. It was like, oh yep, that's true, that's cool. Whereas in No Way Home, we knew everything going into it, but there was still that excitement when our other Spider-Man came, partially because we were like, are they actually going to do it? Are we bullcrapping ourselves? That wasn't confirmed. Here from the get-go and from the trailers, we knew Keaton's going to be in this film. We knew these other characters are going to be in this film. And so it wasn't much of a surprise when it happened.
Was Keaton an actual character or was he more of a cameo?
It was a character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say like
we knew Keaton was going to be in this film back when they released the concept art.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, that's how early we knew. Yeah.
Okay. How's Supergirl?
She's fine. she honestly had less of a part than I thought she would. Which I wish there was more of her.
Do you hope that whenever they do the Supergirl movie, they use her?
Well, I hope that they use what they think works best for the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say.
Okay. That's fair. I was just wondering, like, how good her performance was. Because I feel like I'm getting an aspect from the trailer where there's, like, a rougher edge to her, where, like, I wonder if that'll translate well to the Supergirl movie.
Right. Definitely. She is like more of a fierce warrior than Superman is, because she was trained to be part of a police force before the planet got destroyed. So yeah.
I will. I do intend to continue my Snyderverse binge at some point. I actually wanted to watch Batman versus Superman like a week ago, but I just wasn't feeling it in the moment.
Right. Yeah.
I've just been waiting for a good time personally to like sit down and watch things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to something related to that in a moment, but yeah, at this point, just with the enough negative reception of the Flash, I'm just gonna wait for it to hit Max, and it's honestly probably just gonna take that long for me to catch up. Yeah, Max.
Yeah, Max is a thing now.
I can't believe I actually said Max instead of HBO Max.
Mm-hmm. Max, yeah, I have a bone to pick with Max.
Oh, let's pick that bone.
Like it's a terrible service.
Oh,
it really is. Like we saw bits of it when it came out when you were here.
Yeah,
we saw how slow it was. I had complaints that like the continue watching thing doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It still doesn't work.
Oh, yay!
Specifically on Roku and like apps. If I watch it on my computer, it's fine, but like I don't want to watch it on my computer.
Right.
I want to sit on the couch and the big TV. But no, that's where it's the worst, is that doesn't work. The continue watching there doesn't work, and so I never want to watch it because it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the app on my tablet just crashes like every 5 seconds. Yay. I can't watch anything on that thing. It is so terrible. Mm-hmm. I could watch HBO Max on that, but I can't now. It's like, I hate it so much.
That's really sad.
It's really sad. It's like, it's so frustrating to have something so perfect, and then it's like the worst thing out here right now.
Yeah.
How could this be? Like, seriously.
Why can't they just leave things alone?
Like, you have the code for the other service. Right. Just borrow some of that. Fix your stupid crap. Just, yeah. I want it to work. Okay, I can get behind the stupid UI, but if I just, it has to work. Right. I have to be able to open my app, play something for more than 10 seconds before it crashes on me. It has to save the content I'm watching. It doesn't. If it doesn't even do that, what the heck am I paying like almost $20 for?
Right. I was trying to watch a South Park episode on HBO Max, and it had that wrong episode title issue.
Oh, yeah.
I started the episode, and 5 minutes in, I'm like, this is not the episode I wanted to see. I will say continue watching has been working for me, though. But the titles were messed up. But I ended up going to my my Blu-ray, and popping that in to watch the episode I wanted.
Oh, yeah. It also works on my PlayStation. I could watch it there.
Okay.
But, like, I guess older versions of Roku and like my tablet just don't work.
Maybe I have a newer Roku. That's interesting.
Like,
that's so lame.
So frustrating.
That is frustrating. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched all the DC films. You can look at my reviews on Letterboxd if you really want to know them.
I don't know why I didn't, because I thought I'd been checking Letterboxd, and I can't believe it didn't register that you went through the whole DCEU.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know why I never registered in my brain.
Most films were at 3 stars and 2.5.
What was the best?
The best was Batman v Superman and the Snyder Cut.
Rated at
3.5.
3.5. Would you give Man of Steel 3 stars?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Fine.
No, it was pretty surprising. 2.5 was like one of the most common scores I gave films.
Mm-hmm.
That and 3.
So speaking of Letterboxd and movies, so I was on a little bit of a roll.
You were.
I was. So in visiting my brother, we like watching movies together, and
Yeah.
And so that's how I introduced him to the MCU. I showed him Inception, Interstellar. Actually, that was my first time watching Interstellar, so we watched that together. First time together. I don't remember what else. Anyways, I was really hoping he'd come stay with me, which didn't pan out, which I'm still sad about, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really holding back. I didn't again. I repeat this. Am I the craziest about a theater experience? No. However, I do have a projector. I just measured last night, 96 inches. I have 96 inches of screen space. Sorry, that's going horizontal, not diagonal. So, whatever. Anyways, 96 horizontal. And so I've been able to recreate a big screen experience. Honestly, big screen is very much fun. And so it's like, if I can recreate that for myself, why pay to go to a movie theater unless I'm dying to watch something? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So, anyways, so I've been really looking forward to showing my brother Dark Knight Trilogy. I'm like, you don't have to care about DC. You just gotta, if you love Nolan, you gotta watch the Dark Knight Trilogy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really holding back and showing him stuff because I'm like, if you're gonna come out with me, let's enjoy it to the max.
Okay.
And he kept asking, and I was like, eh. So finally, I caved in and I showed him Memento because I'm like, I feel like that's a small screen experience enough. You know what I mean? Like Dark Knight, we could, if I knew there was no possibility of him coming, I probably would have powered through the Dark Knight trilogy, honestly.
Sure, yeah.
But since I'm like, he might be coming, I'm like, I'm saving that for the big screen. But I'm like, Memento, that can be easily enjoyed on the phone. He really enjoyed it. I was shocked how much he enjoyed it because that's a grittier, darker, more ghetto, you know, of a movie, and I just wasn't sure how much he would be able to enjoy it because it's just such a different atmosphere. It's not as big, but it is very much, you see how Nolan's brain worked at that time, though. And he really enjoyed it. He watched Dunkirk sometime afterwards, so I think his ranking is Inception, Memento, Interstellar, Dunkirk. That's how much he enjoyed Memento. He enjoyed it more than Interstellar. That surprised me.
Okay.
I still am it's still a hard movie, you know what I mean? To digest because it's so dark. It's similar to the Batman, where there's just so much darkness going on, and it's just it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. It doesn't feel good when I'm watching the Suicide Squad and we see a man get ripped in half and we see his organs and such. It's like, eh.
Yeah. which ironically is like when the poster is being used on Letterboxd, and I have to see that. Thankfully, it's small enough, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, then 2 days later, we find out he's not coming, and I have 2 more nights with him. So my plan was to watch Ocean's 11 and Despicable Me with him. But because it was going to leave Hulu, and I wasn't sure if we'd be able to get to it on time, I said, let's go ahead and watch Despicable Me. So we did. We loved it. We both loved the Minions. He had never seen any of the movies, and I'd only seen the first one. So we had a great time. We laughed like little kids, just like how I laughed when I watched
it. Yeah.
Movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we enjoyed it so much that I'm like, we have to watch this Despicable Me too. Like, I love Ocean's 11. Like, I would hope my brother would enjoy it. But I'm like, if we enjoyed it, we have. And we were able to get to bed in time to be able to watch Despicable Me too. Because I think it was like we were down to like a few hours time of it leaving Hulu. We enjoyed it so much. And so then I fly back and I'm like, you know what? We're doing it. I want to finish. I want to watch them all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I watched the rest. I watched Despicable Me 3. And also I will say, watching it alone isn't as much fun. Those movies are more enjoyable with someone. But so like I kind of wish I was watching it with my brother or you or just somebody. It just because watching things alone, I really don't laugh. Period. Like there's always a few moments, but I don't laugh if I'm being honest. I don't. I think. Yeah. So, but regardless, Despicable Me 3 unenjoyable. Mm-hmm. It felt like a fan fiction. It felt like different people were in charge of the writing. And it just felt like some fans who wanted to throw in their own ideas and make a movie, and that's what we got. And it was just really unenjoyable with the decisions that were made. And, just the too many plot lines. It was really tough, honestly. I hate how much I don't like it, but I don't like it. Mm-hmm. And I hate how they set up the fourth one. It's just because at the end it seemed like they all loved Gru, and again, as a friend pointed out, as we seen the first Minions movie, the Minions just want to follow the baddest person possible, right? But even though Drew wants to be as bad as possible, I thought we saw enough with the Minions that at this point their hearts were changed enough where they just want to be with Drew. But that turns out not to be the case, and if we're being honest, Drew isn't the baddest person possible, so I just find it really dumb. It was really frustrating. It's my least favorite. Minions is enjoyable. I enjoyed it because, again, I love the Minions. But, especially watching alone, despite it being short, it starts to drag a bit. And then, honestly, by the time we got to The Rise of Gru, I was kind of watching it on a time crunch. And so I wasn't able to devote my full attention to it. So honestly, I feel like that's something I kind of want to rewatch, obviously in a more proper experience. But it was fine. It wasn't bad.
I haven't watched anything past Despicable Me 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you watched. I thought you had already seen the third one. You should have stopped me.
Well, no. Like I did not like the second film.
Oh.
And then I did not like Minions, and so I haven't watched any of the other films since.
Okay. Well, the third one is just bad.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked how bad it was. The fun part is that one of the South Park guys voices Brat the villain, so that was fun.
I guess it was, sure.
Okay, so I get done with the Despicable Me franchise. That's 5 days in a row of watching a movie every day. And I said, let's keep it up, because I don't watch movies that often, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fun. I'm having so much fun. Let's see how long we can go, you know?
Right.
So I did. So the next day, I watched a movie with a coworker named Jesus Revolution, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. Okay.
Not incredible or perfect, but like, especially considering what we have with Christian movies, it's solid. Yeah, it's solid. Not perfect, not amazing, but it's solid. Very solid.
Yeah.
It's definitely on the production side. It's probably one of the best looking Christian movies you'll see out there. Which
it's not saying much.
But it actually seemed like there were actually a few moments where like that was a cool creative choice visually. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which could never say for any Christian movie, basically. But it is what you just said. It's honestly sad to see that this is like the only good. That I'm not saying the only. I bet there's some, but like one of the few Christian movies that look good. That's just sad to say.
Yeah.
The next movie I watched is a Korean movie called Broker. There's a Korean idol on there who's an actress and was in this movie. That's why I wanted to watch it. And it was on Hulu. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm gonna watch it. And it's almost similar to like what I've said with Star Wars, where it's like a sequence of events. So it kind of has that feel a bit. So, and it was just like shot. I was starting to get like really immersed in the movie, but I forgot where I was watching it on. Hulu. So I got 2 ad breaks, and that really ruined the experience.
So here's something that happened that I did. Mm-hmm. I got rid of ads for Hulu. I just paid for the whole thing because I got so fed up.
Yeah. And you're enjoying it?
Yeah, like I was watching things a lot more because I'd be like, oh, I should probably get back into this. And then I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to watch any of the ads because there's so many. And then I don't. And so I've been wasting $2 a month. And so now I'm paying the full $15.
Mm-hmm. But you're watching more.
I'm watching a lot more. Yeah.
Cool. So it's working. You know what? Because I had forgotten. That was why I didn't watch things on Hulu, because of ads, where I'm like, do I really want to? That was always like the holdback for me. I'd rather watch something on Max than Hulu, just because of ads, and because I'm getting Hulu for free because of Spotify. So there's no incentive for me to pay for it without ads. So I've just been living with it, basically, right?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, there's some movies. I started a movie that I didn't finish. It was one of those high school romantic movies. She's All That. I wasn't enjoying it. I'll finish it one day.
Okay.
But like, that's a movie. I forget if there were ad breaks, but that's a movie where it's like I can deal with ads. But definitely a quote art house movie. Screw ads. You don't want ads for that. Anyways, the next day I was lucky that my copy of Dunkirk arrived in the mail, so I didn't have to deal with ads on Hulu to watch that. And again, Nolan's grading, incredible. Well done movie. I don't love the movie, but
yeah, it's a fine movie. Yeah. I think I appreciate the timing aspect each time I rewatch it, because then I'm like, oh, okay, that's how this sequence of events is happening. Okay.
It's really intriguing how it's made.
Yeah. No, it's well made. Yeah.
Yeah. And to think, like, if you told the story in quote sequential events, it wouldn't hit as hard. It wouldn't be as good. And so
Right. Yeah.
no one knew what he was doing. It's wild. Then I watched R-rated comedy called The Interview, which was about two people assigned with trying to assassinate North Korea's leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a hot topic back in the day.
I remember that, actually.
The people behind this film were pretty worried, so they hired security, like, to just watch them the entire time. I think the studio bought security for them. Just like, okay. And then they didn't tell them that they got rid of the security. So one day they just show up and the security is gone. And they're like, oh no, what happened? Are they dead?
Yeah. Oh, that's freaky.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know who played Kim Jong-un until it was revealed in the movie. And that was the best part. Like, seeing such a goofy representation of Kim Jong-un, like, killed me. And that really made the movie enjoyable. Because I feel like up to getting that point, I would have finished it, but it was just, I was hitting like I'm done point, you know?
Yeah.
But then as soon as they introduced, I mean, I could say who it is, but like if anyone wants to enjoy it, then I'll let them enjoy it, you know what I mean? But that made it for me. And that it elevated it to a funnier level. So I think it's more or less because of my association with Korea, I enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much if I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Next movie I watched was another movie from the South Park guys called Team America World Police, and I enjoyed the South Park isms of it. Kim Jong-il at the time, he had a song, and that was probably my favorite part. Just sings like in a mocking Asian accent. I'm so lonely. It was pretty great. Again, like I enjoyed the South Park isms of it, but it's not a great movie. But yeah, it's probably just one of those movies I would enjoy once and leave it at that. And then the next day, I watched Chris Farley's Black Sheep, which was fun because it was Chris Farley, but not as fun as Tommy Boy. I think that's the better movie. And so I had gone, I'm not going to count. No, I can. 11 days in a row, watching a movie every day. And then, the week before 3 other movies. So that was quite a streak for me. And I really wanted to keep it up. However, the 11 days in a row, a movie each day, I was hitting an exhaustion point. And so one fateful Saturday night, I had a film call with one of my friends, and we stayed up till like 4 a.m. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to watch Batman vs. Superman now. I was kidding. I was honestly glad that it finally died off because it was getting a lot to keep up with. So
yeah,
I killed it. And I will get back to watching things. It was fun. I don't know if I'm going to do such a streak again. Who knows? I might try. But I think, for example, let's take Batman vs. Superman, for example. It's a 3-hour movie, and again, length isn't necessarily an issue for me too much. Like, there can be a really boring 3-hour movie or a really exciting 3-hour movie. Like,
right, yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. It just has to be a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But especially, say, Friday night, I'm like, the only movie I really wanted to watch at that moment was, say, Batman vs. Superman. And I'm like, but it's a 3-show Saturday tomorrow. it'd be really unwise to watch a 3-hour movie. So instead, I watched Black Sheep, a shorter hour-and-a-half movie.
Right.
So it. So if I know I have the time, I don't care about length, but it was getting to a point where it would have had to interfere with my life, and I just didn't want it to. So I said no. And then, to be honest and very fair, it's been really hard to watch anything since. I haven't really watched anything since. Actually, last night I watched episode 4 of The Chosen. Because I've kind of just been wanting to get on that. But
Right.
I've also not been wanting to restart from the beginning. I watched the first 2 episodes, then I tried to get back into it 2 years ago and rewatched the first 2 and watched the 3rd episode. And I enjoyed the 3rd episode, actually. But I hadn't touched in 2 years, and it's a slow-moving thing.
It is.
Did you say you watched The Chosen?
So here's the thing. We've now finished The Chosen.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and my mom, we were watching that the past month. And we finished up until season 3, where we were all caught up now.
Cool.
We really like it.
Okay.
I really liked it. Yeah.
So
I think it does a really good job, yeah.
So it gets, quote, better.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you still have at that point you're used to like the pacing.
Okay.
And they do a better job with the pacing. Season 3 is much longer lengthwise for each episode, and so some of the pacing comes back a bit. But like up to the moments where they do stuff, it's like, oh yeah, the pacing really helped make that moment much more worth it. And so I really liked it. Yeah, no, I really like the show.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear. I actually bought the first season on Blu-ray because I knew having a physical copy would drive me to watch it. Because honestly, if I didn't, I wouldn't have watched episode 4 last night. I don't know if I'm going to go so far to buy the 2nd and 3rd season physically, but I knew this would help jumpstart me into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. I have it like displayed on my Blu-ray player right now as a reminder to watch it. So I think that's kind of my mental priority right now. I want to finish at least the first season to say that, except for La La Land, I've watched everything on my movie shelf, basically. So, yeah, that's what I want to do. There's part of me that kind of wants to get it over with, but, I have faith that it is good. I'm not gonna lie, the payoff in the 4th episode when Jesus does the miracle of the fish, that was a good payoff. I knew it was coming, but it was a good payoff though.
Just the miracle of the fish. Oh, that's so like low stakes compared to what we get later on. But yeah,
really?
No. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, like what happens later on. It's
Yeah.
just more cool stuff happens.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I think if I can get on board with the pacing, I probably would enjoy it more.
Yeah, I think definitely like the more you watch it, the more you get used to it, and then it's just like you don't think about it.
Mm-hmm. It's also just really interesting how episode 3, Jesus playing with the children, is such a departure from within these first 4 episodes. And so how episode 4 kind of went back to the slower pacing of the first 2 episodes. But now that we've actually really now like Jesus feels like a main character by the end of the 4th episode.
Oh yeah, like definitely in later seasons he's much more involved. I love Jesus in this show. Like he's so well casted. He's so well written. He's just pretty cool. Really like him.
Cool. I really hope that I really like The Chosen because I want to. You know what I mean?
It is an interesting take because like normally we don't focus so much on the disciples because we don't spend much time with like disciples behind the scenes in the Bible. You know, it's more focused on matter of fact, this is what happened, this is what Jesus did, less of like, oh, and this disciple was having marital problems and other stuff. But no, once you get past the fact that it's like, okay, they're kind of doing different things that probably didn't happen, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see how this worked for a modern audience. It worked really well.
Mm-hmm. There have been a lot of people who said it's helped them with their faith. Would you say the same for you, or it's just enjoyable content?
I mean, sure, you could say. I mean, I'm watching, it means I took the time to watch Christian content, so I guess that helps.
But it's good Christian content.
Yeah.
So speaking of The Chosen, it's actually going to start airing on national television.
On the CW, yes.
On the CW. That
yes.
was the funniest part. Could have been any station, but it's the CW. But let's be honest, the CW probably needs it.
And let's be honest as well. Like, where else is The Chosen going to go? Somewhere that's expensive? No, CW. It's like a cheaper station.
Yeah. And also, like, it works out because, like, it's going to air through the rest of the year. I don't know when it starts, but it's going to air through the end of the year. That's all I know. But it also is good timing because of the writer's strike. And so they have pre-made content.
Have they finished filming season 4, or are they just halfway through filming?
I actually have a coworker who was an extra in season 4, so I think they're still in the middle of it.
I know. I think, I don't know. I thought I read somewhere that they were finished with something.
Okay. But also, they've inked a distribution deal with Lionsgate.
Yeah?
I don't know what that all entails. So I think, like, we had seen, like, the first 2 seasons are on Peacock, the first season's on Netflix. So they obviously, I think there's an element where they want to try to get on the streaming platforms in general, instead of just being an exclusive thing, which is fine and it's great, but obviously you have more reach when you're on something like.
And also, it's a free show to watch. Like, you can download Angel and watch it for free.
Right, but, like, how many people are? I mean, there are definitely a lot, but, like, imagine you're a random person. I said, go watch The Chosen. And I think you're more bound to watch it if it's on Netflix than you trying to have to download a separate app.
Right. Yeah, we watched the first 2 on Prime.
Because, nice.
Yeah. And then, like, we finished that, and I was like, man, I know that season 3 is out.
Yeah.
And so we got the Angel Studios on the Roku and finished season 3.
See, like, I think that works really well. You have, like, the first few seasons on other platforms, and then you drive people to your main platform. I think that's a really cool method. So I'm really curious again, like, what is distribution with Lionsgate? Like, where else is it going to go? Or maybe also, I think it's also meant for, like, more international distribution as well. But maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that was my run. You yourself watched a few movies besides DC.
Yeah, besides DC, it's mostly DC. Like the League of Super Pets I watched. There was a couple. Not great. There's a couple animated DC films which are fine. A lot of these films just have a trouble with their third acts. I say The Flash is also part of that. For the Barbie podcast, I watched the film called Lady Bird, which is not really my type of film, so I can't really say much about it.
Why did you watch it for the podcast?
So it's made by Greta Gerwig, who is directing the Barbie film, and so for a special episode we watched that because my friend couldn't get anyone else to co-host that episode. So yeah.
And so, are you watching any more things for the Barbie podcast?
I'm not.
You're not.
No. I'm not doing any more. Okay. But another film I watched was Every Which Way But Loose. I only watched it because it's like, Clint Eastwood, and there's a monkey in the poster. So I watched that. It's a really simple film, not too complex a plot. There's some enjoyable moments. It's fine. it wasn't what I thought it'd be. So I thought it'd be better, but it was just fine.
And Ocean's 11, or
Oh
the original
yes,
Ocean's 11.
the original Ocean's 11. It's only because like I wanted to see Frank Sinatra in a role.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this film is so slow. The first act is like pointless. Then we get into the actual thing, and that's kind of cool. And then the film ends, and it's like, wait, this is how the film ends? Like nothing about the story set up in these past 2 hours like culminated to anything. And so like I'm so glad we got the remake.
Yeah.
Because the remake took all of these elements and just did something with it, and it works so much better.
One day I kind of want to watch the original simply because of Sinatra. Like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, maybe.
So you watched it on Prime?
No, I watched it on Max.
Oh, it's on Max. Okay, good to know.
Yes.
That's
Because it's not a TV show. I don't have to save continue watching.
So you basically haven't been watching TV shows on Max, I guess.
No.
That sucks.
Like I'll watch one episode of like my old Superman show, but that's about it.
Did we talk about? I don't think we talked about Spider-Verse on the podcast.
We did not. No, I just mentioned. Yeah, I mentioned it on Discord that I watched it, and it was like it was good, but it was definitely brought down by being a two-parter.
Yeah.
A friend of mine has such a he hates a lot of just things that don't finish their plots. His review was that this was such a letdown. It's incomplete in all the worst ways. And he goes on a rant saying like, remember when these things used to tell complete stories rather than leaving the catharsis for the sequels, which leave the catharsis for the sequels, which leave the catharsis for the sequels until they peter out and you never get their promised catharsis.
Honestly, that's a very harsh review.
Yeah.
Because, like, really, I feel like the only other thing that we're struggling with right now is the MCU. Like, I feel like most other things are telling complete stories. You know what I mean?
He is really harsh in some of this stuff, but like I don't agree with some of it. But like I get it. There has been a lot of stuff recently, specifically in like the Disney Plus shows, where they all end promising the sequel. They don't have a complete story.
But as much as I don't feel like that's as prevalent of a problem with most things, with a lot of popular things, what you were just saying with Disney Plus stuff in general, I would agree that we do have too many of these things, but at least Spider-Verse is contained within 2 movies. We are getting this other movie. In comparison with like the MCU, it's so frayed out in so many different directions that, for example, at the end of Quantumania with the end credit, did you watch Quantumania?
I did not.
You did.
No.
Did not. Well, I mean, it teases more Kings. So it's like, at this point, we're like, are we even going to get more Kings? End of Eternals, it teased Blade, and specifically Game of Thrones characters involved with Blade. Who knows if he'll even be in Blade, because it's being rewritten like 5 times.
But in the case of Spider-Verse, it's a lot worse because it's the essential plot of the film. It doesn't get complete.
You know what?
Yeah.
I guess considering that, it is shocking how much people really love that movie.
It's because I knew that there was going to be a sequel going into it before the film came out, and so I could accept that. But like, yeah, no, I do agree that I wish that there was a much more of an ending than what we got, because what we got was like, oh, that's the ending. I guess they were kind of setting up for that, but that was just kind of in the background. Okay, well, and so like I think that this would be so much better once the sequel comes out. So, but right now it's like the animation is gorgeous, and it works. Yeah.
For like the rating on Letterboxd was 4.7. It's now at 4.6, but like it was, or probably is, the highest rated superhero movie on Letterboxd, and that's wild.
I mean, it has some cool has some really fun jokes and multiverse stuff.
Just people are just so on board with Spider-Verse. It's crazy.
I know. There is an MCU reference that I didn't think about. It was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yep, I am still holding on to. I'm gonna wait till it hits digital because I'm not gonna survive in a theater watching this.
Oh, probably not. No.
What was it? You who said it's worse than the first one visually? I mean, in terms of craziness, you said it's crazier in this movie visually, right?
Oh, yeah, it is crazy. Because, like, you got thousands of Spider-Man versus the 5 in the last film, you know. Yeah, no. It's more of a problem for you.
Yeah. Yeah, people have asked me, are you going to go watch it? And I'm like, I can't. I will, but I'm not going to right now. I'm gonna
overload. Yeah.
I'm gonna put my phone, play it on my phone and place it on the shelf way over there and sit here with blue light glasses on. That's what I joke. I'm probably just gonna watch it on my laptop, just like what we did the first time.
And probably wait until the sequel comes out. Or not.
Here's the thing. I'm already getting spoiled about the movie. Like, people are not something like The Flash, it's so funny. People have just come to a general online consensus that the movie's bad, so why bother hiding spoilers? For something like this movie, people have waited for at least a week, but now people are starting to spoil things.
Sure, yeah.
I'm already being seen things. As soon as it hits digital, I just want it over with.
Okay.
I don't know all the details, but I know some details. Enough that those were supposed to be movie reveals. And so I bet I'm going to be surprised by some reveals with watching, but it's enough for me to say I just need to get it over with whenever it releases digitally. That I'd be able to enjoy the discourse of it more or not be as spoiled. Because, at least by the time the next movie rolls around, people are not going to hold back in spoiling this movie. And so if I wait till then I'm almost going to say, why bother watching it? Sure. I mean, I will, but I'm going to have that attitude. I'd rather get it over once it hits digital. I just kind of wish, I know there's some people who are like, spoilers ahead. Praise God for those people. But there are some people who, after a week, just didn't care. And it's annoying, really. And really, people should wait till it hits streaming at the very least. But it's honestly the nature of social media. And it's also unfortunate that superhero movies is the main topic of social media, especially in my circles. So that's just what I see, even without asking for it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So, there's I'll say, as much as there are definitely some Twitter changes I don't like recently, I've been able to, this has been the most I've enjoyed Twitter. I've really been able to curate it for the experience I want it to, specifically for who I'm following and what I want to see in that sense. But the For You page is really messy, and that's been the hardest part, and so that's usually where I see most of the wonky things, especially as it relates to spoilers. And
yeah,
that has been an unenjoyable factor. But in terms of who I'm following and how I want to see that, I've really been able to enjoy how I've been able to curate that. So as a result, I've been on Twitter more lately, and then as a result, I've been seeing things lately. So.
Yeah. So the past few weeks, I haven't been watching much stuff because I've been busy working on editing my big video.
Mm-hmm.
My Life After Pony video, which I am right now editing through the conclusion of that video.
Mm-hmm.
By tonight, the whole thing should be done.
Oh, wow. By tonight?
by Friday the thing should be released. So
Wow.
really exciting. Been
Yeah.
working. We were supposed to record a week ago. I can't believe it's already been a week. I've just been so focused on this video project. It's just almost done. Can't wait.
Yeah. It's exciting.
It is really exciting.
Yeah.
I made the thumbnail. I sent it to you. What do you think?
I mean, it's
Works.
I mean, like the font is a little basic, but like
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one for fonts.
right. But
It's just Times New Romans, but it gets the point across.
I like this silhouette. I think that's fun. With the colors, like that works in my book. But yeah.
The cheesy little thing, but there you go.
How long is it shaping up to be?
I think it's an hour long.
An hour long. Okay, not bad. How long was the documentary you watched? Like an hour and a half?
That we watched?
Yeah.
Oh, it's about like an hour, 20 minutes.
Okay. How much of like me being a outsider, how much do you think I'd enjoy your piece?
My video? I mean, I think I do a good job at explaining some things.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay. Cool.
Like explaining how I got into it, explaining the part of the community I'm part of. I think it should be fine.
Okay. Cool. So that finishes tonight. Well, congratulations. Happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not done yet, but like, thank you. It's for sure going to be done tonight.
Yeah.
For sure. Maybe a little bit of tomorrow, but like, definitely by the end of this week, it's going to be released.
Where are you in Smallville?
I'm on season 9 out of 10.
Season 9, so you're almost done.
Yes.
On stretch.
Almost done.
I think right now, as much as I kind of want to continue my DC binge, I've really been wanting to finish my South Park binge. I don't know what season I'm in at this point. I'm in between the 16 to 20 season range, and as South Park goes on, the seasons get shorter. I think I'm at the point where like seasons are 10 episodes long right now.
Okay.
And so I'm getting closer and closer to being done. I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I just want to say I've finished. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then also I want to finish The Chosen. I feel like those are kind of like my mental priorities right now. I just want to kind of like get those things over with, especially as it relates to me in part physically owning those two series. So, yeah, I just want to get them over with in the best way possible, but still.
Yeah. And so after that, I don't know what I'm doing. Just watch some more stuff.
When are you hitting House of Dragon?
Well, if Max fixes their crap.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Like if they fix just like the app on my tablet, like then huge. Like yeah, just I can watch some stuff. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you have Max right now?
Well, that's a good question. I've been questioning that too. I had Max when it was HBO Max.
Right. But you took a break.
Well, no, I had it like right before it switched.
Right before it switched.
Yeah, okay. I was watching a show. I was watching some animated stuff, and then I was watching Pennyworth. I watched Pennyworth, the one that changed its name. I was very disappointed that by the end he did not become the butler. I was like, what the heck? This isn't even the origin story. What is this? And so there's that. I watched all the DC films.
How was Peacemaker? I mean, I don't have interest in watching it. But.
Peacemaker, it was like the story could have been told in like 4 episodes. It's just really a drag of like, let's tell as many dumb jokes that just aren't funny.
Right.
And then again, I don't like a lot of like the characterization of some stuff, and it's like, this is just James Gunn being James Gunn. Like, what is this? So yeah, after finally watching the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, like I don't have the best of hope for the new DC films. Like, it's again the similar problem, but like James Gunn, like I know that he likes good stories, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's also just really concerning for DC right now, especially off the heels of the Flash's box office.
And how James Gunn thinks it's the best superhero film.
Yeah.
I think he's referring to the emotional weight of the main plot, less of the CGI and stuff.
Yeah, he's probably also just trying to sell tickets as well.
That's probably true too.
But the fact that it came under projections, and even their lowest of projections.
It's so, wow, like I'm surprised at just how low it is. It's to be expected, of course. There's a lot of controversy, but still,
Like, it couldn't even, like, I think their lowest projections were like low 60s, and it ends up with 55.
Yeah.
Very not good numbers. And the fact that Black Adam opened higher.
Yeah.
Not good.
Well,
yeah, it just
it makes sense. Like, I get it. Ezra did some stuff.
But I mean, I don't like I understand that there's a community of people who are very invested in news and stuff. But there's a large community of people who are not. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you talk to some people and people are confused why there's so many Batman movies right now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, someone who basically just finished watching The Dark Knight is wondering why Robert Pattinson is Batman. Like, there's some people who have no clue, genuinely. And so, yeah, it just really doesn't appeal to the masses right now. It's really interesting. But also, I think it's really crazy to think how well the Batman did in theaters. Like, 700 million worldwide, I believe. Like, that's honestly incredible. And so it really makes me wonder, like how well the next movie's going to do. And with the Penguin being rated TVMA, it actually makes me wonder, like, are they going to make the next Batman movie an R? Because it feels like they've established enough of an audience where they're not too worried about.
Is the Batman not an R?
It's PG-13.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a very hard PG-13.
Yes.
So I actually wonder, like, are they just going to take it into our territory? Because, like, the Batman made $700 million. Like, and there's enough people who love it. I bet it can duplicate 700 million again. With it being an R.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I just also like the Joker's, like, I think the only movie that's an R that passed $1 billion. So I feel like it wouldn't be an issue necessarily.
Yeah.
But also,
those
I think
films aren't part of a universe, so they can stand alone.
Right. And I think there's enough people unhappy about how the Snyderverse panned out that people want their dark DC, and they found that with the Matt Reeves Batman.
Well, it's less dark DC and just more because, like, Snyder in his films was setting up a story coming in with later films. Like, Batman v Superman was setting up stuff past the Justice League, like the second part, the Justice League. because the original Justice League was supposed to be a 2-part film. The Snyder Cut is part 1. And it's like, yeah, no, there was going to be a lot more that I wish we got to see. Just to see it be done.
How many films were planned out?
For Snyder?
Hmm.
For Snyder, it was like Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2. And that was like the main of his vision, was to get through that. There was a Green Lantern film that has kind of got turned into a show that's being redone right now, so who knows when that's going to be a thing. There was supposed to be a Cyborg thing, but then Justice League didn't do good, and then the actor who played Cyborg just was like, this studio is so terrible, it mistreated everybody on this film, and so then the studio just ruined his career. And so, yeah. But at least, Snyder hired him for his new film that they're working on right now, I think.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
For Snyder's sake, I hope Rebel Moon does well. But I'm also really shocked it's not getting a theatrical release, at least not yet. Like, I think that is a shame.
And Netflix said they're not doing any more theatrical releases to their stuff.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Why? Why is Netflix like this?
Why is Netflix like anything? I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I'm just... Like, is streaming a blessing? Yes. But especially with... We didn't talk about this. The recent Disney Plus takedowns.
So what's happening with Disney Plus?
Like, Willow's gone.
Oh,
the
yeah.
new show.
Yeah. Willow's gone.
And so, unless it gets licensed out to something else, unless Disney opens either a fast channel being like streaming TV channels or an ad-based platform, Willow, and it never got a physical release. Unless you pirate it, Willow's gone forever.
Yeah, even the making of is gone as well.
Yeah, do I care about Willow? No. But that's just one example of many, and there are many. This is all coming off HBO Max's Purge. This is just a dangerous precedent for streaming-based content, and it's just at the very... Because, like, is Rebel Moon going to get a physical release? Probably not, unless Snyder twists Netflix's arm so hard. But I'm surprised he didn't twist their arm enough even for a theatrical release.
Well,
but he
Netflix does more physical releases than Disney Plus does.
That is true.
That is very true. So,
you know what? Actually, I find it interesting. Wasn't there like physical releases for like Pammy and Tommy, whatever that show was, and the Beatles documentary, and then there's Summer of Soul, but those were like Hulu-based things. But like those are like so few. I find it interesting those even got like releases. But regardless, yeah, I hope that, like Bob Iger recently said that they're re-looking into physical home releases. So I hope that the tide will change a bit. But it's just almost depressing.
Yeah.
And especially for a lot of general consumers, with so many TV shows being canceled after the first season, like people aren't watching TV shows because they're reluctant because they might get canceled. So why bother starting a TV show?
Sure, yeah.
And then also with Disney Plus, they shut down their content arm in South Korea. They've funded a lot of Korean-based shows, for people in South Korea to subscribe to Disney Plus, but they shut down that arm. So we'll have a few more things releasing, but they're no longer funding, Korean shows to be made. And so I think there's an element where I understand. We are seeing streaming is not as profitable as studios were hoping for it to be. And I think that's on one end fair and understandable, and I think it's good to see an awakening of that, and I do hope that means, in a general sense, we'll see more things hitting theaters, we'll see more things hitting physical media, even if it is limited release on both ends, because streaming isn't everything, but it is just, especially for a lot of this original content, it's just gone in the blink of an eye. It was really interesting. I don't remember if it was the Willow director or whatever, but he said when Willow first released, he's like, that's the magic of streaming. It'll be there forever for you to watch it anytime you want to. And now it's gone forever, never to be seen again.
When was the last TV show to release to come out that was popular?
In general?
Yeah, in general. Not counting, the Game of Thrones stuff. Because you can watch that on TV, but, it's also immediately on the streaming service that most people are going to watch it on.
So you're not talking about HBO? Basically.
No, nothing HBO.
I feel like the issue is that there's some things that are popular in pockets, you know what I mean? But not widely popular, like Squid Game or Strange. Oh, Wednesday was our last big show.
But that was on Netflix.
So what are you referring to?
I'm talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and even Agent Carter. That was released on television.
Uh-huh. But everything's hitting streaming after it is on television.
No, yeah, but I'm talking about made for television, because right now everything's being made for streaming.
Oh,
and not television.
So you're saying HBO?
I guess Better Call Saul.
Well, there's Succession. Succession was pretty popular online in its last season.
Uh-huh.
But that had a healthy 4-season run.
Right, because CW trash, but when they came out, it was popular. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm just thinking about the way those TV shows are made compared to what we'll be getting on streaming. I miss those TV shows because those seem to be much better than what we're getting.
But
and we're not getting any of that anymore, it seems.
But I think there is also room for a certain kind of creativity for straight-to-streaming shows like Severance. I know that is just one example out of either many or few, but that doesn't have its place on network television, but it also it's a good show, and it's their season 2. This is probably on hold due to the writer's strike, but it's in production.
Mm-hmm.
I love Severance so much. I don't know. I do see what you're saying though. It's a wonder to me that things made money for television, and it seems more profitable than streaming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy to me. But I guess that was the case. Because if television wasn't profitable, it would have shut down forever ago. But
yeah,
they did it so far into the streaming age. And then what you're saying. Well, also, Disney is starting to show, some Disney Plus content on their channels or whatever. It's really interesting how it's almost being reversed. The Chosen being on the CW, now they're forcing these streaming shows to be for television. So it's almost opposite now. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm really curious where things are going to be in 5 years. Because I think streaming is here to stay in a general sense, but I think the approach to streaming is going to change.
We just need our physical media.
We need our physical media.
We need it. I need my final season of the Clone Wars DVD.
Yes.
Just re-release it, all of it, because like I want it. I don't care. Just
it was really interesting to see like the Flash, like it's getting its season 9 release on Blu-ray, and in fact the whole show on Blu-ray is on sale for pre-order, and we're not getting that for Mandalorian. We're not getting that for Clone Wars. And name your other things.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Flash was made for the CW, for television, not for streaming. But regardless, like it was. I'm glad to see it for that, but in looking at the landscape, it was sad to see.
It's like, yeah, this show that's not very good is getting its complete series DVD. Well, like good stuff like The Mandalorian that people would pay for is just nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Which like sucks for international people who don't have access to some of this stuff.
Like Prey, like people want to own that on physical media. You know what I mean?
Ah, it's not on physical media. True.
Oh.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Sometimes it takes a really long time, but like still.
I think. Well, also we're seeing just people in general are too reliant on streaming right now. I think we're also seeing that with Elemental. That is the lowest grossing Pixar movie in its first week. So that means it grossed lower than The Good Dinosaur, which was like 55 million. It grossed lower than Onward, which was right at the start of the pandemic. It grossed lower than Onward. That is wild to me. And in theory, So it's the lowest grossing Pixar movie in its first weekend. And I understand. So like just how Disney had trained its audience that Pixar is now a streaming studio. And so now families aren't as willing to go out and watch it in the theater.
And the trailers aren't helping.
Yeah.
I'm so fed up with trailers right now. Like they're so bad. They're showing us everything.
Yeah.
And I'm so disappointed. And it's like, come on, stop showing me this. Like there are films was like, oh, I just saw the entire film, literally.
Shazam 2. Oh yeah, my god.
I watched the film. And it's like, yeah, this is the trailer. My goodness, like what is this? Even the Flash, they didn't show like the cameos at the end, but like they showed a good portion of this film. And it's like I could tell what the direction of the plot was just by looking at all of this. It's like, okay,
that was almost the wonder of No Way Home, because if it wasn't for Alfred Molina, the marketing of the movie was just supposed to be Peter Parker and Doctor Strange fighting.
Right.
And then even with them having to give away the villains, they never gave away the Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah.
And we're missing that.
Yeah. We're missing that. Like trailers are like teaser trailers are supposed to be like 30 seconds to a minute. And I look at like whatever teaser trailer just came out recently, it's like, oh, that's 2 minutes. So during this recording, like a half an hour ago, the teaser trailer for Craven just came out. That's 3 minutes.
Nice. 3 minutes.
That's like, what the heck is this?
By the way, I heard that trailer was supposed to release in a few days, but the whole trailer got leaked, so they just had to give in and release it.
Do you know what I'm very disappointed about?
What?
So I've watched 3 films in the theater in the past month. Guardians 3, Spider-Verse 2, and recently The Flash. None of those films showed the Barbie trailer.
Really?
Yeah. So my friend, they showed it in The Little Mermaid. My friend watched the film just to see the trailer.
So they showed it for Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
I would have thought at least Spider-Verse would have had it.
I know. They showed Oppenheimer only in The Flash.
Yeah.
But still, like, where's the Barbie movie trailer? That film comes out in less than a month. And so, like...
You know what also sucks for Barbie right now is, like, Oppenheimer's tickets Like, those went on sale when I got on the plane to come back here. Barbie's tickets are not on sale yet.
Ooh. But it's still projected to win, though.
Yeah, which I still believe it will. But, like, I'm hearing the contention are the premium screens. Because Oppenheimer has such... Like, Tom Cruise is reportedly upset that Mission Impossible isn't being in IMAX for longer than a week. Because Oppenheimer steals IMAX for 3 weeks. And other premium screens, and then with Barbie releasing that same week, it's not getting premium screens. That's what I heard from one person. Could be wrong, but also I think it makes sense because it's a month away. The tickets should be on sale now. Oppenheimer's tickets are on sale now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? It's also really interesting because there's a report that Warner Brothers wants Nolan back. And it's like, how dare Warner Brothers release Barbie the same week as Oppenheimer? You think that's a olive branch? No.
Yeah.
Like, that's goofy to me. Like, no way. Like, I'd be shocked if Nolan goes back because, of course, why would you go to the studio that's opening Barbie against you?
True. Yeah.
That's wild to think about.
Barbie's gonna win. Like,
it's definitely unless
it's definitely gonna win.
Unless tickets release so late, Barbie's gonna win.
Definitely in the first week, Barbie's gonna win. Nolan might be better in later weeks, but still, I don't think so. I
don't think there's enough family appeal for Barbie for it to have strong legs.
But like Oppenheimer just doesn't seem like that big of a catch from what we've seen in the trailers.
Yeah, Oppenheimer is definitely more for like the art house fans.
True. Yeah.
But also with the interesting thing I think we are seeing is how like every movie is only getting a week in IMAX and then has a significant drop the next week. You know what I mean? Like Fast X being a good recent example, dropping basically like 70% the next week after losing IMAX screens to Spider-Verse. And so with Oppenheimer having IMAX for 3 weeks, will it have a solid hold in the box office or not? I'm really curious about that.
What's going to happen to The Flash this next couple of weeks?
I mean, we have no hard feelings with Jennifer Lawrence, so that doesn't need premium screens. So The Flash might have premium screens for another week, but I'm really curious how bad the drop's going to be because the discourse is so negative.
Yeah, no.
Like, also, some people are saying it really hurt that Warner Brothers held so many screenings before the movie released. I didn't think about that, but I find that really interesting. Because, like, the earliest screening was in April for CinemaCon. That's, like, 2 months ago.
Yeah. I think they were pretty ambitious with this film.
I think they were too hopeful. They were really there was that one guy behind the scenes. He's like, this movie is so good, it'll make you forget how bad Ezra Miller was. And then do you know what's trending online? Ezra Miller putting a baby in the microwave.
Yeah, but like they're just reversing the footage,
which I found out, but it's still honestly really funny.
Yeah, no,
but
again,
also doesn't
context
help.
Matters. But like, still, I saw that GIF and it's like, well, that's not how that happened.
Yeah, it
is funny though.
Once I found out it was reversed, it became funny. But prior, I'm like, what the heck is this movie?
No,
there was one tweet that's like Ezra Miller's victims seeing him put a baby in a microwave, and then Danny DeVito. I get it now. That killed me.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. That baby sequence was pretty weird, but like a pretty solid way of showing Flash stuff. But like, still kind of weird at the same time. Like they put the baby in the microwave. It's like, interesting.
And unfortunately, that just doesn't help people to go see this movie.
Yeah. And that's in the beginning of the film too. So very fun stuff.
It's also just really interesting how many movies are underperforming right now. Like,
yeah.
Even though Guardians is doing well, it's most likely going to still come under the second one in terms of total box office.
Mm-hmm.
But like we have Fast X that was $350 million in budget alone, so forget the marketing. That's a lot. And then Flash 220, I believe it was. Just a lot of Elemental was 200. Elemental. And then even Ant-Man Quantumania coming under the second one. Like, we're so many blockbusters that are overspending and coming so low. And I hope that Hollywood rethinks how much they're spending.
It's going to happen again with Indy, that's for sure.
Yeah, that one's expensive.
Boy, I'm going to be really sad next week.
That movie has such a mixed reception.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going to land? Do you think you're going to be disappointed?
I think I am. It's like I've been disappointed so many times in recent films with films like this where I want it to be good. I want to like it, but like I don't think I will.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's such a shame.
But apparently, Young Indiana Jones is on Disney Plus, so that's
which is wild.
Yes, it's wild.
But that's a good thing at the end of the day.
But I
find really wild is that it comes on Disney Plus when they're purging things in order to save money. And then out of all things, they add Young Indiana Jones.
Maybe it was cheap.
Maybe.
I mean, before you watch it on YouTube. Let me see if it's still on YouTube. Probably.
Was it on Paramount though, or not?
It was for like a week.
Just a week? Why would it be on a streaming service for a week?
That's just me joking. Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. Okay. It used to be on Prime, but then that went away like a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And then, well, I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Do you think Disney is going to sell off Lucasfilms?
Sell?
Yes.
No. Like Lucasfilm is Star Wars, and that's they want to keep that money.
I'm really curious how these next 3 movies. Oh, we didn't even talk about film dates. So 3 new Star Wars movies have gotten dates.
Oh yeah, the dates.
And I depending on reception, I probably will see the Mangold movie in theaters.
So those dates are probably not going to be fixed.
Yeah.
Like that one got pushed back to the summer of what was it, like 26?
I think there's 2 movies in 26.
Yeah, summer of 26 and then Christmas. I think they're going to push it back.
You know what? There's one of the Star Wars movies released in the same month as King Dynasty.
Yeah, and so that's why I think they're going to push it back as well. Because, like, Solo came out, like, only 6 months after... Not even 6 months after The Last Jedi. Which was a really bad decision. I thought so at the time, because still, yeah, no. I think they want to have that year to promote the film. Even still, just make it like a holiday thing versus just every few months. Because, like, yeah, definitely releasing Solo right after The Last Jedi did not help the film.
Speaking of holiday, Thunderbolts is aimed for December 2024. Like Avatar's 3's original date. That I find wild. Thunderbolts is not a movie that I'd expect to release during the holiday season. Like the Suicide Squad movies, both of those released in like August. You know what I mean? Like those, like Thunderbolts feels more like a summer movie than a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That's just wild to me.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Isn't that like later on in the MCU timeline?
Okay, so 24, we got Deadpool 3, which got moved up to May. Which is crazy because it went from September to November to May. So that's crazy. So May, and then we'll get Captain America, I think July? I don't know. And then Thunderbolts in December.
Hmm.
So that's next year's lineup.
Okay.
Regardless, I find it crazy that Deadpool got moved up. Like, moved up from its original date. So that's pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, man, Thunderbolts.
It's December 2024, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the original timeline thing. Because that was the end of Phase 5, wasn't it?
Maybe? I don't remember.
I think that, because then Phase 6 was like Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. But, yeah, Thunderbolts is supposed to be the end of Phase 5.
Interesting. But also, Fantastic Four isn't in a phase yet. Like, we don't know if it's
technically, it's Phase 6.
Because Deadpool was in limbo with its phases.
True.
But now it's obviously Phase 5.
Yeah, but in Phase 6, Fantastic Four was released in that big timeline thing that they released in Comic-Con last year.
Ah, gotcha.
That was Phase 6. That's what I'm looking at here. Thunderbolts was the end of Phase 5 with Daredevil, Ironheart, Captain America, Agatha, Blade, all that other stuff.
Oh, when is Blade slated? That's early 25 now, right?
Well, Blade was supposed to be November of this year.
What is it now, though?
I have no clue. It's still in limbo.
I thought they gave a date for Blade. I thought it was early 25. I thought Blade was February 14th, 25.
I haven't seen anything about that in a while. Like, I'm not paying too close attention. No!
What?
Super Friends has left Max. I was watching that. Dang it!
Super Friends?
Yeah, it was the 70s cartoon. Oh. Dang it! Ah!
See, that's why I hate streaming. That's why I want to own things. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could probably find the DVD for that.
But see what I mean? Like, I'm just fed up with streaming.
That is one of the things I was watching on Max at the time right now. Like, great. Thanks, Max.
Seriously, though, like, I feel like streaming works better for movies than TV shows because you could be in the middle of Smallville and it could leave at the end of this month. I'm not saying it is, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And are you going to get that on DVD just to watch season 10? No. Maybe,
Smallville?
but I doubt it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get the whole DVD. Like, I'd do it one day, maybe, but like...
One day. See, and then also we were talking about ads. Like, that's also why, like, I don't really want to watch TV shows on Hulu because of ads. I'm just going to get 5 ad breaks every episode.
I'm really disappointed about the Super Friends one.
I'm sorry about that.
Like, yeah, it makes sense about why they'd keep that if they were getting rid of some good DC stuff, but, like, still, I'm bummed out because I was still watching that, like, right now.
By the way, Blade is Valentine's Day 25.
Well, good for them.
But even that movie, like, I'm worried because, like, that movie's been delayed so much. You know what I mean?
I'm probably just going to cancel my Max subscription. Yeah, like, for real.
Anyways, I'm a little surprised we still don't have a date for Armor Wars yet. With all these dates being announced and shifted. But also, I think the more I think about it, the more surprised I am that. I mean, I kind of get it, but like the fact that they announced Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. You know what I mean? First off, I'm surprised they're still sticking with King Dynasty with the whole Jonathan Majors situation.
I mean, that is an important story to tell.
Yeah, there was a report. I don't know if it's true, but the report was the plan wasn't for Kang to be such a focal point until they saw Loki and Quantumania and his performance in them. I don't know if it's true, but honestly, like with his performance, I could see how that's true, how that could be true. But I think like at the end of the day, the goal was still Secret Wars at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I also the actress of Storm, the original Storm.
Mm-hmm.
She dyed her hair.
Halle Berry?
Yeah, she dyed her hair.
Did she? No.
Storm. Yeah. Rumors are getting thick about Deadpool 3.
Oh, I mean, why not?
I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, like with Deadpool, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Really. And I wouldn't question it.
Yeah. I think I'm cautiously excited about Deadpool 3 because the rumor is for it to be, another chapter in the multiverse saga. So it's like we've had I like Multiverse of Madness, but it's a botched entry. Quantumania is a botched entry, Like I'm just nervous about all things multiverse as relates to the MCU right now.
I mean, I just want good story with cameos.
I want good stories.
Proper cameos. Like I'm a bit like I really enjoyed the cameos at the end of The Flash, but I was like, why are these the cameos we're doing? Mm-hmm. Also, the way you did this is kind of weird.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Okay, question.
Yeah?
Again, other spoiler. Is Nicolas Cage, is that CGI or was he actually filmed?
Oh, that was definitely CGI. Okay. I mean, well, they had to like de-age him, so.
So, okay, question. Was he ever Superman or whatever?
So, the thing was, in the 90s, there were plans to have a Superman film with him. And like we do have photos of him doing a costume fitting. And the plan was like, okay, this is gonna be like a darker Superman film where he's gonna be fighting a giant spider. And then that didn't come through. And so for years now, we were like, oh, that'd be funny. Teen Titans Go had made like a joke with they casted Nicolas Cage as Superman for their film, which was a funny reference. But here, like, they actually had the giant spider that he was fighting, which was like, okay, this is the actual film. That's pretty cool.
But it was CGI.
Oh yeah, I mean, oh yeah, it definitely. Like, it all looked weird. Christopher Reeve looked weird.
I'm still questioning why they decided to go so CGI.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there was no other Flash shown in the film, really. Like, not even the TV Flash or the older TV Flash, which is disappointing because the TV Flash has the older Flash in it, and they did a cameo with the film Flash in it at one point that's not even mentioned in this film. It's like, you could have done like other stuff, but you didn't. Instead, you chose these weird cameos. Apparently, they cut like Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. She was a cameo, and there was another cameo that I thought was weird. It was another Superman, I think.
Mm-hmm. Everything's weird.
Yeah, like why are these the cameos you're putting into this film? I get it. I love that, but still, why is that? I don't love the way they presented the cameos.
Right.
I love the cameos, but not the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Flash TV show did a much better job at doing that.
Mm-hmm. How far did you get into the Flash TV show?
I got through like halfway through season 6. And then like COVID hit, and then I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with the show, and so I haven't watched since then. But I've seen clips here and there, and they're like, none of it's good.
Uh-huh.
And the finale wasn't good either, so you know, whatever. What a shame.
What a shame.
It happens.
It happens too often, though.
Yeah. Way too often. I mean, at this point, I haven't been watching The Flash, so I don't really care anymore. But, like, still, you'd hope it'd end better.
Right.
Like, Arrow had a decent ending. Like, this was just, yeah.
I think sometimes thinking about, like, all these things, it's just really exhausting.
Well, yeah. 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 Anyway, anything else I'm going to talk about for this episode?
I mean, I feel like we've run really long, despite other things to talk about.
Yeah, this is a good length. We'll come back again to talk about our mixtape.
Yes. I did a brief listen, and now we're not going to talk about it, which is fine.
I know. And I've completely forgot about the thing.
That's fine. We've done... I mean, we've been so sporadic at this point, like, really, these topics have had to take priority.
Yeah. Of course, like, I've been editing, so I've not really been focused on this, though.
Yeah, I will say this, though. I'm hitting serious music burnout right now.
Music burnout?
It's very serious music burnout.
Interesting.
I've never had this before.
Okay.
And so it's been really difficult for me.
Well, you better get back on it, because you're part of Semper Metellum, so...
Yeah. Like that, there's an element where there's a lot of stuff we talk about I never listen to. But I want to be up to date about our scene, you know what I mean? But it's really difficult too. But we do like the favorite songs at the end of the month kind of thing. And that I'm dreading. Like also like this month, there just hasn't been enough exciting things. I don't know what to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm probably gonna like wait till like next week to like listen to some things to make a bare minimum list. But next month, I will say, one more piece of news.
Okay.
Ready? There is going to be a collaboration with the Powerpuff Girls.
With who?
The Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited?
I mean, I don't know what it's about. What is it?
They're collaborating with New Jeans.
Oh, I think you mentioned that. I have no clue what that is.
No, I did not. This was announced last night.
Okay, well,
anyways.
I have no... What's New Jeans?
Yeah, no, that was my whole setup. New Jeans is a K-pop group.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But apparently, like, they're going to ham, like, it was announced last night, all the images are, like, the 5 members as Powerpuff characters.
Okay.
Like, that same style. Like, there's literally, like, 2 versions of the album you could buy. Like, a beach bag version and the Powerpuff version. Apparently, so they're going ham with this collaboration. I don't know what all this is, but with your love for Powerpuff Girls, you finally might get into K-pop.
Did you know that there was a Powerpuff Girls anime?
I didn't.
There was. Yeah.
How similar was the visual style?
Not very.
Really? That's
In
actually a
fact,
little surprising to me.
I mean, in fact, the visuals weren't that great, which was like very surprising. They, for an action show,
Yeah.
it wasn't anything about the action.
that is
I can't
surprising.
talk about that right now because I don't have much information to give.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you guys
Well-
for listening.
I was just gonna say I'll keep you updated about New Jeans. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how interested you will be, but you do like Powerpuff enough where you might have slight interest. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.